Okay, so I suppose that we can start. Today I will conduct the webinar for you on the Insights Copilot, and especially I will highlight the new features that were recently released on our Insights Copilot 2. So this is really a powerful feature. This is really a powerful tool to understand who are your consumers, what they do, what they say. And this is really a powerful AI tool to find the deep consumer insights. So our plan for today is that I will make a detailed presentation of the new features of Insights Copilot 2. I will also demonstrate all these new features through practical examples and use cases in our system. And then we will have the QA session. Actually, I will do several pauses to check the chat where you can ask your questions, and we'll answer your questions. I will do 2 or 3 pauses during the webinar, and of course, we will have the QA session at the end of the webinar. Also, you may ask your questions, and if I do not have time to answer them, so my colleagues will answer your questions too during the webinar session. So let's start. So at first, why Insights Copilot is really such a powerful tool, such a powerful feature. Insights Copilot, so the first thing that you ask Insights Copilot the question in the natural language as you speak, and the Insights Copilot gives you the answer. Gives you the answer also with the natural language. It is really very convenient, especially for new users, so that may not know all the functionality, all the filters that may be applied. And here is a simple tool that just answers your questions. Very often we deal with a big amount of data, especially when we are doing some research. It may be like thousands of mentions. So how to work on these mentions, how to analyze them and to retrieve the information that you need. This is really very hard to do, but Insights Copilot, this is the tool that would help to analyze quickly a huge amount of data. Also, this feature, this tool, will help you to understand your consumers, to find insights, to find key drivers and pain points of your consumers. Also, you can find really great advice that may come from your consumers, and that be really very precious for the development of new features of your product or for changes in your service approach. So that may be different things. And the last but not the least, it enables to analyze data in foreign languages. So if you do the research for different countries that speak different languages, now this is not a problem because the system will analyze the data in different languages and then just translate the summary to the language you need. Let's say that you are using English or French or German in the YouScan platform, and it will be translated to the language that you need. As here you see as an example, here is the mention that was as an example here, and it's in Spanish language, but it was also analyzed. It was also brought as an example on the basis of which the Insights Copilot was doing the summary. So we are coming to the new features of Insights Copilot 2. So what are they? What has been changed? So the first thing that has changed that now Insights Copilot supports threads. So there is the possibility to ask the follow-up questions. And that is really great because all the related questions may be in one thread. So there is no need just to jump between different questions. You have everything in one place, in one thread, everything that you wanted to know, you were asking the Insights Copilot, you just open that thread and everything, all the information is there. Insights Copilot can build charts. So you can just ask Insights Copilot to build the chart for the sources where the positive mentions were coming from in July, for example, and the Insights Copilot will give you that information with the help of the chart. Then the Insights Copilot can compare different data segments. You can ask the Insights Copilot where there are more negative mentions in June or July, and you will receive the prompt answer from Insights Copilot. One more feature that we added in this release is ability to cancel the questions. It's really very helpful because sometimes you use the wrong filter and ask the question, or you made a mistake, or the question was not precise and you notice that after the question was already asked, you can cancel it. Then you can now delete threads in history or answers in the thread, and you can choose your preferred language. That is really very useful. We will discuss everything. I will tell you about all these features more in detail in my next slides. So the first one feature that is really very, very great, it's follow-up questions. So for example, here, I started with the very general question. I created the topic for recently released Samsung Flip 6. And I asked just the general question, what do consumers like about our brand or products? So there were a lot of variants, a lot of different informations, but I highlighted here that at one point, the Insights Copilot gave me the answer that users are highly satisfied with the camera quality and AI features of this cell phone, of this model. So then I asked the Insights Copilot what AI features of the Galaxy Flip 6 are distinguished by users. So I went more deeply investigating this thing, and I received the answer. Also, there were mentions about comparing Samsung with iPhone. So I asked also what features do people distinguish while comparing Galaxy Flip 6 and iPhone. And I received the answer with the real examples. Later, I will show you this thread in our system at our platform. Also, I asked the question, do people switch from iPhone to Samsung and why? And Insights Copilot gives the answer on that point too. So this is really a very convenient tool because you can have all the question concerning one theme in the one thread, and you can always come back, you can always continue the thread. So it's really very useful. And you can make more deeper investigation with the follow-up questions. Then the ability to build charts and quantitative analytics. As I said, you can ask the Insights Copilot to plot the data, to plot the sources where the negative mentions come from in June or in past 6 months, and the Insights Copilot will build you a chart. Here, there were 2 questions. Actually, at the beginning, I just asked the sources where the negative mentions were coming from, and I had this the list, but then I asked to plot the data, and this is the chart that was built. And the Insights Copilot can compare different data segments. That is really very cool because you just asking Insights Copilot about where there are more positive mentions in July or August, and here you have the prompt answer with the numbers, and it's really very convenient. Also, I had one topic where I was investigating the Spider-Man actors, and there I asked also to compare either people like more Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland as a Spider-Man, and I received the answer. And later we'll show you how the Insights Copilot was coming to that answer. It's not only this summary. I just put it here, the summary. So now I will switch to our system and I will show you how it works. So at first, here is the interface of our Insights Copilot. And the really great thing here are cases, because these cases, they have already predefined filters and predefined questions. So for example, my conversation, I started with the customer satisfaction. And as you see, these filters are already applied. This is the question. I will cancel for the moment this, and I will go to this thread. So I asked the Insights Copilot in my topic, what do consumers like about our brand of products? As I told you previously, so there are some things that consumers appreciate so much, and they say that the Galaxy Flip 6 has the features that set it apart from competitors like iPhone. And also there, I just, my eyes were caught by this summary that users are highly satisfied with the camera quality and AI features. So right away, I was wondering what AI features are really appreciated by the customers, and asked the follow-up questions. What AI features of the Galaxy Z Flip 6 are distinguished by users? And as you see, here are the answers. The AI zoom and sketch to image features are highly praised. And what is the great thing, that I can always check the examples on the basis of which this summary was made, because Insights Copilot gives the examples. Then I asked about the iPhone. What features do people distinguish while comparing that Galaxy Flip 6 and iPhone? And here I have design and portability, customization options, camera performance, and others features. So every time you can go to examples and see what were the examples and what was the basis for this answer. My question then was, do people switch from iPhone to Samsung, and why? And you can see that here is that people are switching really from iPhone to Samsung Galaxy. I asked to show the dynamics of the positive mentions. Just a second, I will close this. Show the dynamics of positive mentions over the last 3 months. Yep, obviously there was in this the release of this model, so there's a splash, the spike of the mentions, but here is the chart, and it is built just out of my question. I asked what are the sources where people share their positive feedback. I received the list. I asked the Insights Copilot to build a pie chart for the data above. And here is the pie chart with all the numbers. And what is the great thing here, that you can export in different formats and use it in your presentation right away from the Insights Copilot. Then I asked why there was a spike in positive mentions in July. So here is the answer also for all why there was a spike. What other questions may be here? What authors share the positive feedback on Samsung Flip 6? I received even the list of authors that share that positive feedback. And I also asked to plot the data. And here's the chart with all the authors and the number of mentions, positive mentions, that they were writing about this model. Also, I would like to show you how the system is comparing different data. For example, I asked here in another topic, do people like more Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland as a Spider-Man? And as you see, the system at first was summarizing everything about Tobey Maguire. So here it's everything about Tobey Maguire. Then the system was summarizing everything about Tom Holland. Then the Insights Copilot just highlights the key points about every actor, and here about Tom Holland, the key points, and gives the overall summary. That is, so you can just watch how and see how it was this answer was given. Okay, I will now go to chats just to see if there are some questions there. No, there aren't. So we will continue. Then the next thing, then you can now cancel the request. This is really very useful. Just it seems like a small improvement, but really it's really very useful, because sometimes you use the wrong filter and you see that right away after the question is already asked, or you made a mistake, or another question more precise came to you, and then you can cancel it. For example, if you have a limit for the questions in your account, if it is cancelled, it's not counted. And you have like up to 1 minute. Sometimes it's several seconds, up to 1 minute, because the Insights Copilot need some time to summarize and to analyze the data. The next thing that now you can delete the threads, and you can delete the answers. Why do you need this? For example, you have a lot of threads already in your topic, and you do not need a lot of them. Not to be lost, you can just delete them. Or in one thread, you can ask the question, and then you see that one of the question was not precise, and it's not given the answer you wanted, and you do not want to see it in the thread anymore, so you can just delete it. And it doesn't matter if it's the first, if it's in the middle, or it's the last one. The system will delete the question and the answer you choose. And set your preferred language. Now Insights Copilot has the ability and supports a lot of languages. So if you choose the English, then it will give you answers all the time in English. In Spanish, all the time in Spanish. But there is one thing, that you can choose the auto-detect language. And then, for example, you are multilingual and you know freely Spanish and English, and you need to work with both. So you do not have to switch in this case. If you ask the question in Spanish, then the system will give you the answer in Spanish, the Insights Copilot precisely. If you ask in English, then the Insights Copilot will give you the answer in English. So let's go back to our system, and I will show you how it works. So here, for example, I was asking this, let's say here, let's say I will copy there. I will copy the question, and I will ask it. Okay, you see, it's analyzing, and I will cancel it. So it's not counted, it's not here, so this question will not appear anywhere. So it's about to cancel the question. If you'd like to cancel the thread, you can choose any thread and delete it, any that you do not need. Or if you do not need any of the questions or any of the answers that was here, you can choose and delete this answer, and this answer will be deleted from your thread. So, for example, I will show you that I was, so if we go to settings, you can choose the language you want to receive the answers. For example, there is a lot of now, it's English, Portuguese, Kazakh, it's Ukrainian, it's German, like a lot of questions, a big list of the languages. You can also choose auto-detect language. When you choose this option, the Insights Copilot will analyze the language of your question and will give the answer in that language. For example, here I was asking in French, and I had the filter auto-detection of the language, and I received the answer. As you see, it's also in French. So it's really very useful. And now you can freely analyze everything with the help of Insights Copilot, receive it in the language that you need, take this information and put it into your presentation, as well as the charts. Okay, let's go back to, I just want to check if we do not have questions. If you do, just ask in the chat and then I will answer if you have the questions. So all the questions in the chat. Okay, I do not see any, but still I will come back. Okay, what languages supports Insights Copilot? Insights Copilot supports, if I'm not mistaken, approximately 90 main languages. So if you, Insights Copilot analyzes all the information on the language it is written. Then it makes summaries and translate only the summary to the language you need. So it's really very cool. And if you are working with some languages that you do not speak, it's not a problem anymore with the Insights Copilot. Okay, we are moving on. So now I would like to talk a little bit about filters, because it's really very important when you are working with Insights Copilot. So when you open the Insights Copilot, you see the interface, you see the cases. I already talked about them. I showed them. Then when you choose the case, you have already the predefined filters by the system, because and the predefined question. So that is cool. But there are another options, because we have the questions, the examples of the questions, and you have the ability to ask your own questions. And here below, you have two options: either extract filters from question or use current filters. So what does it mean? How to use them? So use extract filters from question when you'd like the system to extract and apply the filter based on your question. So the system, the Insights Copilot, will analyze your question and will apply the filters to find the summary, to find the information for you. But there are the cases, for example, when you need only the information from YouTube and you work with the filters, you already filtered negative mentions only from YouTube, and you need precisely the information about negative mentions in YouTube. In this case, you can really use current filters, and you can ask the question, what do people think in a nutshell? And then the Insights Copilot will look for information within the filters that you applied in the topic. I will show you a little bit more on our platform about the filters and how you can check them. So let's go back. So for example, I will come back to the thread where I was asking about positive mentions, so as you see, what do consumers like about our brand or products? Here, you can open and see what exact filters were applied by Insights Copilot to give the answer. For example, I see that it was for a month. I see the category, word of mouth, the sentiment, positive, and I see even the number of mention and when it was asked. The great thing here is even you can apply these filters for all your topic. So let's say I will delete the filters from here, from my topic. I ask the question, the Insights Copilot just retrieved the filters from my question, and I can apply them to all my topic. And you see this really 2K mentions. So, for example, I will show you also the case I prepared for you about the key drivers. So in this case, when I was asking the question, I was not applying any filters. I had the extract filters from the question, and the Insights Copilot retrieved the filters just from my question, and I can see which. So it was analyzing the data for 1 month, the category word of mouth, the post type, post and comment, and that was applied by Insights Copilot. If I want to use these filters in my topic, I can apply them. I can apply them further, or if I want to use these filters next for my questions, I can also apply these filters. Another example here, the same question, but when I was asking, I had I will show you. So I choose YouTube, I choose negative sentiment, and I ask Insights Copilot, what are the key drivers for discussions? And here it was analyzing all the data within my filters. And I can check it because I have source YouTube and I have sentiment negative. Okay, I see that there are actually that is the main difference between these two filters. I see already the questions in the chat. So yes, the question is Insights Copilot to, yeah, my colleague already answered yes, it's now available for everyone, and it's available in all our accounts, so you can freely use it, and it's really helping to understand the customers and to work with the big amount of data. I will show you also the case, because I was always I was showing you the cases with the positive feedback, but for example, when you need to work with the negative one, so what are the main consumer complaints? Here is the thread. It's a short one, but just to show you that you can find the pain points of your consumers with the help of Insights Copilot. So I ask about the main consumer complaints, and it's giving me with battery heating problems, quality and durability of the device are criticized because it's folding, of course, and you can check the examples where it's coming from, what are the people writing about these problems. I asked to show the dynamics of negative mentions over the last 3 months, and you see here is a really big spike on July 10th. So I asked why there was a spike of negative mentions on 10th of July. And I have already the answer, as that many users expressed disappointment with the lack of innovation. It's really a little bit strange, because it's like the opinions are divided. Some of them are really satisfied with innovation and even switching from iPhone, but there are still people who, and you can check the examples here, that on the 10th of July, white people were dissatisfied, and you see there are really negative mentions. Also, a great thing here, as the Insights Copilot, it's the AI feature. You can also ask him, how can we react? So, and as this is the thread, and it takes into account the previous answer. So it's how can we react? And Insights Copilot takes into account that I was previously asking about the spike, and now I'm asking how can we react. So it gives me an answer that reacting to the spike in negative mentions and their underlying consumer dissatisfaction involves several strategic steps. Yes, these are address product concerns, and the advice from Insights Copilot, pricing strategy, enhance customer service. These advice are really general, but still they can lead you to some new ideas, or just you see how can you plan what can be done, because it's just giving that it should be about the address product concerns, pricing strategy, enhance customer service, marketing and communication, competitive analysis, feedback loop. So everything here was some hints for you to think how to work with all these negative mentions, and everything just coming from the Insights Copilot. And here everything based on the real users who are posting their experience in social media, and we are analyzing all these consumers' opinions, and the Insights Copilot summarizes and gives you the feedback. Actually, that is all I wanted to share. The last slide here is just prompt questions. There are several examples on the questions that you may use to ask the Insights Copilot. So you can use the cases that are already the examples of the questions that you see in the interface of the Insights Copilot, but still you can have plenty of questions and try to ask precisely what you want to know. So what are the key discussions? What are the unmet needs of my customer? What features was discussed the most? What are the main trends in the products I am looking for, I'm investigating? Why there was a spike in June? Which I don't know which author are sharing positive feedback. So a lot of questions that you can just simply ask the Insights Copilot, and you will receive the prompt answered less than in a minute. Okay, so now it's time for questions and answers. Okay, sorry if you previously mentioned this, but will you send the recording and presentation after the meeting? Yes, the recording will be made, and I suppose that the link to the video will be sent tomorrow. So it will be processed, and tomorrow you will receive the video. Yeah. Any other questions? Maybe you are interested in some other, maybe something, maybe you have some offers that Insights Copilot could do. Okay. Okay, so can we use prompt to ask it to provide or quantify number of mentions related to each key driver it provided? A quantity number of mentions related to each key driver it provided. It should be tried. You mean, okay, I've understood. So you're asking about the key drivers, and here is the thing that the Insights Copilot is giving you the summary, for example, 6 points, and you'd like to know the quantity of the mentions. This is really a hard task to do because people are using different languages for that one, but it can be tried if it will give you such the answer. Actually, I was not trying just to give about all the key drivers, but it can be tried. Usually it gives you the answer on such stats as sources, as authors, as quantity of mentions, quantity of negative mentions, and so forth. Okay, can we use okay, the next one. Do you have any advices how to create topic if, for example, I want to investigate Xiaomi, other brand like you did? So it depends. Should it be a broad topic like Xiaomi or more precise? It depends what you would like to investigate. If you would like to investigate Xiaomi as the whole company, then you can use only Xiaomi. But then be ready that you will have maybe even millions of mentions. And when you look for Xiaomi, be ready to find the spelling, different spelling that people may use, because this is the consumers, they can make mistakes. If you are interested in the model, then you can precise Xiaomi and the model, and then you will have the topic that will be concentrated on the model, and it will be more narrow. It depends on the aim that you have on the goal. Okay, so Ayer is asking, okay, because I tried and it returned the same number of mentions. Yeah, maybe this is it, because these are the key drivers, and it's very difficult for Insights Copilot, even for the artificial intelligence, to retrieve the number of mentions. So that may be the point. Okay, any more questions? Is it possible to showcase settings for the topic you showcase about Galaxy? You would like to see the search query that I used? The search query, actually, yeah, it's not so related to the Insights Copilot, but yeah, sure, I can just show you that. Here, you see, it's not difficult. I just used Samsung, and I used like even this one. Sorry for this. Just a second. Because some people may just misspell. I used Galaxy different combinations. Also, people may use different combinations, and also do not forget about the hashtags. And in this case, you see, you will receive as much information as it could be. Okay, next one. You're welcome. Yeah, every time you want to make the search query, you just think that people can misspell something when they are writing their feedback, or when they are writing anything about this. So, okay, let's see. Are there any other questions? Post type repost can make result more relevant. Yes. Here I just it just was my desire to make it less, because I was creating for the only for this webinar the topic, so I just didn't want to see the repost, because repost, it's like the, for me, I was not concentrated on the repost. I decided just to take them away, because I saw that there was a big quantity of reports, because when you create the topic, you can right away see how many reports are there. So I just decided to make it less. So it's just up to you whether you need them or not. Just up to you. For my reason was just less mentions in the topic, and that is all. Okay, maybe some other questions. Can we analyze new conversation insights with Copilot? Just a second. I will. You mean this one? My case, I don't know if I have created the my topic just recently, and I am not sure if the system has already. No, there are still trends. There are still trends. So here is the thing: when you work with conversations, you can go to the potential crises that are already here. You can press here, and really the Insights Copilot will work with the conversations, and are there any potential crises or topics that we should be aware of? So it's coming from the conversation cluster.
I think the question was more about the bubbles that we have on the graph, like on the relation graph. So
Maybe.
I assume so. Vladimir, just correct me if I'm wrong. So I expect that your question is more related to the bubbles, like whether the Insights Copilot can analyze the relations between the bubbles, and like what stands behind those relations. So in that case, the answer would be no, because like there is no way for Insights Copilot, like there is no way we can pick up, let's say, a lot of bubbles and open them in the mention stream, because Insights Copilot works specifically in the mention stream. So the only thing what you can do, you can click just on one specific bubble and then go into the mention stream and analyze this specific bubble, but there will be like still no relation. Can you click on the bubble? Yeah, you see, so you need to pick up a phrase. And unfortunately, I expect that there will be no option for us to pick up a couple of bubbles simultaneously. But anyway, it's a great feature idea just for the future considerations.
Okay, yes, Vladimir, you're welcome. I just understood not correctly. Okay, some other question just waiting. Maybe there are still some. Maybe something was not highlighted or something is not clear. Actually, as to summarize, this is really a very simple tool because it understands the language that we speak. So it's really easy to use. You just need to remember about the filters option that you use. And every time it shows you the answer, you can also check what filters were applied. So it's really very handy when you work with the big amount of data, especially. Okay, so no other questions? Still waiting for a minute. Maybe there are still some. Maybe someone is typing. Okay, then I see I do not see any other questions. So I'm really grateful for that you came to visit this webinar. I hope that information that I provided was helpful and it will make usage of Insights Copilot more effective for you and even more easy than it is now. Use it because it's really gives great results. It really facilitates your work. So okay, thank you, Vladimir. You're welcome. This is really a great tool. So use it and share your experience. Okay, so now on this point, I will end our meeting. So thanks for coming. I wish you a great day, a great evening. So see you at our next webinar. Then we will have. So bye.